northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
Been Mozart. Yeah, right?
Oh man, we got some Dvorak.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Know the Scene. This week's Know the Scene. Justin Dionne, your host here with Know the Scene. A little bit different kick-in today, Bill. A little bit different kick-in. We're setting the mood for what we're going to be talking about some today. Here, going to be talking with a great gentleman in the area, Eric Boruff here. And he will be speaking with us in just a moment. But before we get started, hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone's having a great day. Had a great start to your week. Pretty week. Getting kicked off. It's been nice. Sun's been out. That's been nice. A little chilly, but not too bad. It is still February, so it should still be a little chilly. So yes, we're having a great week so far over at Cain Center for the Arts. We had a wonderful weekend last weekend with Chi-Town Transit Authority, who had a full house there. Full house was rocking and rolling. They were fantastic. People really enjoyed them. If you came to that, thanks. If you didn't, sorry we missed you, but maybe come next time to the next thing. This weekend you can come if you're a bluegrass fan, bluegrass or traditional kind of music fan like that. You can come see Darren and Brooke Aldridge. Really great couple, but they're gonna have a band with them as well. It's just really great traditional bluegrass, folk kind of country, in that way. Some picking, some grinning. Great harmonies. Darren was on the show with us a couple weeks ago. You can go back and listen to that show. By the way, if you didn't get to listen to it and you want to learn more about Darren and Brooke, go and pull up Know the Scene on your podcast app, whatever it is you listen to podcasts on. Look up WSIC Know the Scene, and you can scroll back and listen to past episodes. You can listen to the episode with Darren and learn all about him and their history. Over 50 times they've performed at the Grand Ole Opry. Over 50 times. So there's a great resume there, and they've got a great crowd coming to see them this weekend. We hope you'll join us there. Then next week on Thursday, a little Thursday night action, we've got some blues,
Nice.
some hardcore, shredding, kind of melt your face off blues.
Wow.
Yes. So Eric Gales is coming. And you may not know that name. I will be totally honest with you. I did not know his name either when his agent reached out to me. But then I looked him up, and man, if you're a fan of blues guitar and just shredding, you've got to come see this guy. I mean Jimi Hendrix level, no kidding,
Insane.
no kidding. And he's sold a lot of tickets. He's got a great kind of underground following. Because I hadn't heard of him, but I was like, yeah, let's we haven't done blues yet. Let's try it. He's super talented, man, and people are excited about him. So I really, you all come check out Eric Gales next Thursday night for just some really real guitar shredding. It's going to be great. It's going to be a true left-handed guitar player.
No way.
Yes, a true left-handed guitar player, shredding it.
Wow.
Yes. Come check him out. And then next weekend, coming back to Cain Center after a sold-out run last year. They had 2 sold-out shows last year. Forever Young is coming back next weekend for 3 performances. And the Friday night performance is very close to sold out already. So there's a Friday night performance on the 16th, a Saturday afternoon performance at 2 p.m. on the 17th, and a Saturday evening performance. And it's popular again this year. It's like I said, Friday night's almost sold out. That's a great show. It's like a musical review show. These guys, they actually worked on a cruise ship together and developed this show together.
Wow.
And now they tour it around. It's great. It sings a lot of your kind of favorite songs from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And there's dancing, and it's a kind of a cool story about how they met each other as friends and developed this show. So it's a fun time, great to go to and enjoy for a nice night out and a date night after getting your face melted off by Eric Gales. So lots of great stuff coming up to Cain Center. Great new exhibit that's opened up last weekend. 2 exhibits again running right now. Down the hill we have Homegrown Junior, so wonderful local youth artists and adult artists there. Up the hill in the Cain Center itself, we have Director's Choice. We talked with Simone Elbey about that last week, where again half of all the art purchases from those pieces go to fund our community impact programs. And so yeah, lots going on at Cain Center. We're really excited today, though, to have a friend of ours, speaking of community impact, a friend of ours that we do some community impact programs with, and we're working on more with, we could talk about later in the show. But we have Mr. Eric Boruff here today. Eric, welcome to the show.
Hello. It's good to see you, Justin.
And this is your first time on Know the Scene.
Yes, it is.
Though not your first time on WSIC.
It is. This is my second time on WSIC.
Second time. All
And
right. Well, you're warmed
happy
up
to be
then.
here.
You're warmed up. We're happy to have you today. Eric's gonna chat with us all day today. We're gonna talk with Eric about I'm gonna ask about the usual guys. We want to hear a story. Want to hear about who he is and what he does. Eric is the executive director of the Cornelius Youth Orchestra.
Yes, I am.
How long have you been in that role?
I began that position in January of 2019, so 4 years.
Nice. Yeah, there you go. 4 years.
Some quick math there.
Yes, 4 years. 4 years, although it feels like longer with like the COVID gap, right?
Absolutely.
At times.
Yep.
So yeah. Well, awesome. So Eric, I know we've got a little bit of time that we can still chat before our break here. What I guess start us off. Why don't you start off by just telling us about Cornelius Youth Orchestra?
Sure thing. The Cornelius Youth Orchestras has been around in the Lake Norman area since 2006. First operating year was 2007. And our goal is to provide local youth with performing ensemble opportunities. And that primarily has been through our orchestra. And in the last several years, post-COVID, we've grown that vision and expanded that into a variety of ensembles.
All right. So all right. And a full orchestra, how many pieces right now?
Right now, we have about 55 in our full orchestra. Yeah. Yes. And then we actually have two full orchestras. So we have our upper orchestra, and that has the 55 pieces or so. And then our Philharmonic, which we just started this year, which has about 30 pieces.
Wow. So tell me the difference between the orchestra and then the Philharmonic.
Skill level.
Okay.
It's both full orchestras, but we're just making a distinction based on experience. And
Philharmonic is the more
beginner.
Higher. Oh, Philharmonic's the more beginner.
That's correct. That's beginner. Yeah, absolutely. So we started that this past year to give kids an opportunity that wasn't such a shock coming into the full orchestra experience at being at a very more high level. So we wanted something to be a little bit more of a welcoming environment for kids to experience all those different sounds happening simultaneously. It can be a little bit of a shock whenever you've been practicing your, trumpet by yourself in your room or in a one-on-one lesson with an instructor, and then all of a sudden you're in an orchestra and you hear the violins and the flutes and the cellos. Yeah. And it's like, what's happening? This is too much going on. And so for younger kids, it's just a little bit of a better entry to the ensemble environment. And so in that room, Jen Bassett is our director of that ensemble, and she is just absolutely fantastic with those kids. And they have come so far just this year under her direction. And so what they really work on in that environment is introducing the idea of you have to listen to those around you, the social element and the ensemble element of playing. And so it's been a really awesome experience to add that to the portfolio of how we serve our community. And we're excited to continuing moving forward with that in the coming year as we increase our enrollment and have more engagement with our community youth.
That's awesome. All right, well, way to kick us off, Eric. Don't worry, guys. We have lots more with Eric coming back after the break. Have a relaxing break as you play out on this week's Know the Scene.
You're just moments away from more Know the Scene with your host, Cain Center for the Arts Executive Director Justin Dionne on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, no rain for a while. Sure is nice to have a dry stretch of weather, isn't it? That continues. Plenty of sunshine today. It'll be a little bit cooler. High temperatures around the lake around 50, maybe some low 50s this afternoon. Dropping back to around freezing overnight. On our way to the mid-50s tomorrow, and slowly but surely warming up a little closer to 60 as we get toward the end of the week, although rain chances will come back heading into the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Merle Fest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Mooresville Parks and Recreation is excited to bring The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater to the Charles Mack Citizen Center, Saturday, February 10th. This is not your usual murder mystery experience. An evening of theater and mystery that will have you laughing and gasping. The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, Saturday, February 10th. For more info, visit ourtownstage.com. Want to attend the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your chance to win. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, February 23rd through the 25th. Looking for a night of bluegrass and Americana? Darren and Brooke Aldridge are coming to Cain Center for the Arts Friday, February 9th. This husband and wife team are celebrating their 9th recorded project together, This Life We're Living. Darren and Brooke Aldridge, Cain Center for the Arts, Friday, February 9th. cainarts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
In today's world, hard workers are hard to come by. But luckily, for the ones around here, Nelson Royal's work in Western wear has you covered. From head to toe, trusted brands like Ariat, Durango, Wrangler, Carhartt, and more. Nelson Royal's work in Western wear has been helping the hard workers of Mooresville since 1967. Stop by Nelson Royal's today. In the heart of Mooresville, Highway 150, just look for the giant horse. Or browse the full inventory at nelsonroyals.com.
Call now to speak with Justin Dionne at 844-STUDIO-4. It's Know the Scene on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to this week's Know the Scene. Justin Dionne here with you. We're enjoying a nice little cut from Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. Hope everyone's enjoying this wonderful, wonderful piece here. You notice the decrescendo here.
It's impressive.
As
Man,
we go
the timing
down,
you guys have at the studio
and we
is
fade out.
amazing.
I had to do it. I told Bill at the break. I was like, I want to do the classical radio announcer thing.
You nailed it.
Nice calm voice there.
10 stars.
Yes, thank you. 10 stars from Tchaikovsky.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, welcome back. Let's get rid of that. Shake it out. Welcome back, everyone, to this week's Know the Scene here. Nice chat we're having with local. I got to tell you, I love when we get to have, and it's important that we do, have just great folks like yourself, Eric, who are professionals making a difference in the local arts and community scene, right? I think that's really important, like what folks like you do, and I've had, Adam on with Learn Music and, Case, and, we'll have Simone on to talk about what she does with visual arts, and we've had folks from the Community Theater in Statesville, and I'll have, Dave's a community player, so it's always great to get to have you guys on so people can hopefully hear like all the great work that you guys are doing.
Well, I appreciate it. And, one of the things that you mentioned, came to mind as you're going through all those names. We are so fortunate in the Lake Norman area to have so many power players of people that are just serving the community in mind-blowing ways.
Yes,
it's 100%. Just amazing. The names that you're listing off, I've met several of them, and I have the privilege of calling a few of them friends. And it's amazing just to be able to partner with those people as we serve our community in a variety of ways. Lake Norman is so fortunate in that regard. I just feel like there's amazing superstars everywhere you look. And I will say you're very kind, and I appreciate all the kind words. But Yes, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to be in the Lake Norman community for the last several years. I'm a transplant from the San Francisco Bay Area.
There you go. You led me right into it. I was about to say, tell us now. Tell us the story. How did we get you?
Yeah, well, you're stuck with me.
That's right.
That's what it is. But no, I moved here from the San Francisco Bay Area. I am a native of the Tar Heel State, though.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, I was born in Durham.
Okay,
born in
all
Durham.
right, little Bull City.
Yeah. So not necessarily from Charlotte,
That's
but
okay.
I was here for 6 months and then California bound, but I'll claim it.
Got it.
So,
That's it. That matters.
That's
so
right.
Born in Durham, but then moved quickly to California.
That's correct, and that's
All right.
That's why I was raised. And anyway, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and in many ways, that was a very fortunate time and experience to have that region. There's so many resources there, especially in the arts.
Sure.
To be able to have some of those opportunities just right there in that massive metropolitan area was really awesome. But I grew up in a musical family,
Nice.
and so my mom is a pianist, and so we all started piano lessons. Whether we wanted to or not.
How old were you when you started piano lessons?
We all started about 4 or 5.
Wow.
About that range.
Do you still play now?
I play a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure with like what you do, like, but do you like? Are you like playing now, or do you just play enough to be able to like help teach the students what you need to do? A little bit of both.
I am not a professional pianist by any means,
Okay.
but I do know my way around the instrument enough to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, good. That's great. That's great.
So, but I started on that instrument and then drifted to the violin shortly thereafter, a few years after the fact, at the end of 4th grade. So
All right. Wow, end of 4th grade, you got to pick up a violin.
Yes.
Now, was that like available in your school, or was that through private?
Yeah. So that was a really fortunate environment for me. I did have the opportunity to go to a private school because my mom was a teacher there.
Sure. Yeah.
So you got a free pass.
Yeah. My dad grew up in Florida, and my grandfather was a photographer, and they got to go to a nice private school in Florida because my grandpa was like, the deal was, he was like, look, instead of like, pay me less and let my kids go to school here.
Yes,
and they were like, deal.
Yeah, it works out great.
Sure.
I feel like I lucked it out.
Go.
So, but they actually had a strings program all the way as early as kindergarten.
Wow.
So they had kids get started then, and that's actually when the seed was planted for me to get started. And it was not for a noble reason. I wish I could say it was, but the violin kids got to leave class, and the kids that were left over had to do extra homework.
Well, that's pretty easy choice to me.
Exactly. So I was like, oh man, I need to figure out a way to play this instrument. And anyway, I think my parents were wise to it, so they kept me in school doing my homework. But then the choice was kind of out of their hands. It's a funny story, actually. I was toward the end of the school year. They were cleaning out the lost and found at the school I was in, and school administrator there knew that I wanted to play an instrument.
Oh, nice.
Wanted to play the violin, and they had just sent this kid to the dumpster with a violin that was there. They were just tossing everything in lost and found.
Oh.
And she saw me go around the car line, and she was like, wait a second, I think that kid wants to play the violin. And so she had them go run back to the dumpster and pull it out of the dumpster.
You got a free one.
I got a dumpster violin. That was my ticket to playing the instrument.
Violin. Nice.
So I showed up in the car line, and I was like, hey,
it wasn't like damaged or anything. Like it was.
Yeah, it worked. It worked.
There you go.
Until my brother broke it.
Oh, brother.
That's the hazard of having 2 brothers.
Of course.
Yeah.
So wait, so you're in elementary school when you got your first violin from the dumpster.
Yes.
And what did you like? So when did that convince your parents that it was like, come on, like let's get this kid some lessons? Like what happened then?
I had to sell him on it. Yeah, I think that was maybe my early training on maybe persuasion and working on that. So, but initially they weren't sure if I was totally sold on it, and so finally I'd been playing on my own, trying to teach myself, and then they
got tired of the squealing.
That's kind of what it was. But also I'd saved $10 in my piggy bank, and I went to my mom and my dad, and I was like, hey, I'm ready to pay for my own violin lessons.
Oh, that's nice. Way to go.
So then at that point, they were like, okay, I think we got to get this kid some violin lessons, and kind of the rest is history. So
that's cool. So and you were, how old would you say?
I was 9 going on 10.
9.
Yeah.
Right about, 9 going on 10 when you first, like, really, I guess we're headed towards your first lesson, right?
Yeah.
So you're like at home, you're fiddling around with it.
No pun
literally,
intended.
sorry, yeah, no pun intended. Sorry, ayo. No pun intended. You're fiddling around with it, like in your room or your basement or wherever, trying to teach yourself this. And like, I mean, sorry, this is a long time ago, but like, what are you even trying to like? So I imagine like I self-taught myself guitar.
Yeah.
Right. And I would listen to songs that I would listen to on the radio, and then I would have guitar tab and stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Like at the internet, we had the internet and everything. But like, how do you, like when you're just when you're trying to do violin, like that must be. I mean, were you like, let me go put on Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake? I mean, right? Like,
No.
how do you kind of even, or are you just literally just like listening and trying to hear what feels okay? Or
because I had wanted to play for so long, and I was at a school where they had classes, and my friends
so you were able to kind of like, okay.
So, if they were on there at lunch, they would have their instrument or whatever, and I would, like, hey, show me what you did, or how do you do this? And they would show the song that they're playing or something. And so there was a little bit of that, but it's not that I did it well. But I mean, it was enough to get me going,
Well, that's great because the communal aspect,
absolutely,
of music,
big deal,
right, and of art in general, but especially of music, is so important. And it's when I was talking with Darren Aldridge like 2 shows ago, who Darren and Brooke are playing this weekend, but he was talking about how when he was growing up, like that mentorship of like, I mean, he played. But then, he's from Cherryville, North Carolina, and it's like a very like bluegrass picking culture.
Yeah.
They all meet up on Sundays at XX church or XX barbecue place, and they just sit around and pick, and they, you just pass around the jam. And, he said, that's just how I really started to learn a lot. And he's like, I got a lot better when I was younger because I would go on the road and then I'd pick with these guys and I'd pick around with those guys. And so it's like you said too with that as well, right? You're around others and you listen to what they do and you try to emulate it, and that at least can get you. Sometimes I can get you the spark.
Yes. And
sometimes I feel like there was a point for me when I was younger where like I played a lot of like acoustic guitar and stuff and could play some, but then I met some people that like really played.
Yeah.
And spending that time with them, you start to pick up little tricks.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You start to pick up tricks of what they do, and you're like, oh no, show me what you just did there.
Yes.
You
Absolutely.
know? And then you're like, oh no, wait, show me again. And then you got it, and you add that trick to like your little repertoire.
For sure.
Like it's so much fun that way.
Yes, it was amazing experience. I will say also the idea of coming from behind really appealed to my competitive nature growing up in household 3 boys, right? And so I was 4 years behind. All my friends. And so when I got started, I was like, bring it on.
Gotta catch up.
Let's go. And
I like that.
And so that was also motivating. But you're totally correct. The social component was a big deal. And I see that now in our work that we do in our community too. And so it's just another reason to believe deeply in what we're doing. I'm personally invested in that, that I can speak to it on my level in my own life, how that impacted me. And it's so incredible to now see that impacting other kids in our community too. And it's just an awesome opportunity that we have to serve our community.
Well, there's like a language.
Absolutely.
Like they really do, like that whole idea of like musicians jamming together and passing the jam back and forth. And like you really can have these little conversations. It's neat. All right, we're going to take a quick break. But after we come back, more with Eric Boruff, and we're going to play you out real quick on this break from some Vivaldi's Four Seasons, Spring Allegro. Come back after the break.
There's more Know the Scene with Cain Center for the Arts Executive Director Justin Dionne on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, no rain for a while. Sure is nice to have a dry stretch of weather, isn't it? That continues. Plenty of sunshine today. It'll be a little bit cooler. High temperatures around the lake around 50, maybe some low 50s this afternoon. Dropping back to around freezing overnight. On our way to the mid-50s tomorrow, and slowly but surely warming up a little closer to 60 as we get toward the end of the week, although rain chances will come back heading into the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The Ugly Antenna has now become a household name in this area. The Ugly Antenna allows those without a streaming provider to receive up to 50 channels absolutely free of charge, including Fox 46.1. The Ugly Antenna is small and connects directly to your TV. Get the Ugly Antenna for just $40. Call 704-682-1755. That's 704-682-1755 for the Ugly Antenna.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up? I'm tired of feeling so bloated. That used to be me. Then I got this. Align Bloating Relief plus Food Digestion. A probiotic, right? Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align Bloating Relief plus Food Digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Get $5 off at alignprobiotics.com.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Folks, you know it's been cold, and we at Randy Marion Stores in Statesville, we want to make sure your car does not leave you stranded on these cold mornings. Come let us check your vehicle out with a complimentary service check. Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln, we'll check it out to make sure that car will start on these cold mornings and get you to where you need to be. Come see us today. Make sure you're tip-top ready to go. 2024 has started off cold. Let's make sure you are ready to go.
King of Price, GrandyMarionStatesville.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. J.P. Morgan Chase, the nation's biggest bank, says it plans to open more than 500 new branches, hire 3,500 workers over the next 3 years. It's also expanding into new markets like low-income and rural communities, as well as those aimed at the wealthy. Another 1,700 branches will be renovated. But DocuSign is the latest big tech company to cut costs by cutting jobs. It plans to lay off over 500 workers in its sales and marketing units. On Wall Street today, after yesterday's sell-off, stocks are mixed and little moved. Right now, the Dow is up 0.25%. The Nasdaq, though, down by about 1/3, and the S&P 500 is flat. The dating site Bumble launching a deception detector, an artificial intelligence-empowered program to find scams and fake dating profiles. Meantime, ahead of this fall's election, Meta says it'll begin labeling more posts that were created using AI tools to prevent misinformation and deception on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Know the Scene continues. Here's your host, Cain Center for the Arts Executive Director Justin Dionne on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Te Deum. Te Deum. Wob. Know the Scene, everybody. This is epic. I need to bring out my lightsaber now. This is like lightsaber fighting music.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. Very classical, a classic episode today.
Absolutely.
We're recording a classic episode of Know the Scene. Not recording. I mean, it's live. You can listen to it later on the recording when you go to your podcast app and just search WSIC Know the Scene, and then download and subscribe. Just smash that subscribe button.
I like it.
There you go. So welcome back, everyone. Having a great conversation here today with Eric Boruff from Cornelius Youth Orchestra. We didn't get far, Eric. We got to age 10. So I'm not going to give away your age today, but we have a little bit of ways to go.
We have some ways.
So let's take it from there real quickly. So continuing along. So little Eric is playing the violin now.
Yeah.
And you take your lessons. What do you continue? So then do you join the school orchestra at that point and like continue into like middle school and high school as well?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a lot. I was very fortunate to have a lot of opportunity, and
Nice.
The first teacher the first teacher I had, it was very short lived. They moved within a few months of me taking lessons, and then I had a short break where I was self taught, and I joke that the only thing I taught myself was bad habits.
That happens.
Exactly. Hey, word to the wise parents, if you're out there listening, it's never a bad investment to get your kid a good teacher.
That's right.
So just keep that in mind. And then my next teacher was actually a professor at Stanford. And so
nice.
I spent the next few years breaking bad habits that I had
Sure.
self-taught, and then I was off to the races. And so
Did they ever bring out the ruler and?
well, fortunately, I didn't have to go that far with it, but I did. My teacher was constantly tired of working with me and trying to break my habits. She was constantly holding my bow and like trying to help me with that. By the end of a lesson, she was always broke out in a sweat. Like she was like, Eric, I remember one time she just like sat down exasperated and she was like, Eric, you have to stop doing this. I can't do it anymore. So I was like, okay. I look back on that. I'm like, man, I think I need to write her a note and just say thank you. And I'm sorry.
I wonder if she knows what you're up to nowadays.
You know, I have no idea.
Because you know, with like Facebook and stuff now, you'd be surprised.
Reach out.
Like I believe, like I
hey
will still
Susan,
here and there,
how you doing?
Yeah, I'll still here and there see like my teachers, like that I like my elementary school teachers or middle school teachers. Like they'll pop up on my Facebook and maybe they friended me at some point and I didn't realize they friended me or something.
Yeah,
yeah. That's wild. So did you end up going to like continue studying?
Yeah. So I took lessons from her, and that was awesome. I learned so much, was exposed to so much opportunity. I participated in my school orchestra. That was a great opportunity as well. Got to be the concert master there, which was awesome.
What is a concert master? What is that?
It's the first chair violinist in most orchestras.
Very nice.
It was a small pond. And so I didn't have necessarily a ton of
San
competition.
San Francisco's a small pond?
Well, the school I was going to. So I didn't necessarily have a ton of competition, so it's not like it was a super big deal, but it was a fun and it was a growing opportunity for me to have a position of leadership within the room.
Absolutely.
And that was
Did you have
something
to keep fighting for it?
No, not too much.
Because I know, like when I was in band in like high school, like sometimes there's a nice little bit of friendly competition between like chair 1 and chair 2.
Yes.
Right? The constant little back and forth a little bit.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't have to face most of that, but I did. They did need some trumpets in the orchestra one day. You mentioned you play the trumpet.
I used to.
And they pulled everyone in the orchestra aside. They said, we're going to have everyone try the trumpet. And they pulled me in there and I tried to make a sound on it for like 20 seconds. They were like, nope, back to the violin. So my trumpet career was very short-lived. And so all that to say, I had the opportunity there. And then I continue to have some leadership opportunities there. Actually, they had to part ways with their orchestra teacher, the high school. And they were going to shut down the program, so I just went to the principal and I said, "Hey, I can do this. Let me do it." And he, to his credit,
that was what year?
My 9th grade year.
You're a freshman.
Yeah.
And they let you take over the orchestra program.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know what was going on in the principal's mind, but they let me do it, and so I actually got to work with my school orchestra for the duration of my high school years, and I didn't do it my senior year. Just because I wanted to, be have that responsibility. Yeah, exactly. But it was great. And at the same time, I was studying composition, and that was one of my first loves. And so I was doing that privately. And
I was going to say, So wait a minute. Sorry, if I can. So if you're a 9th grader, and the teacher who would normally be like conducting and teaching the orchestra classes, is now gone. You're in 9th grade. How are you continuing your? I mean, sure, you're helping with the orchestra, but
all of the
who's teaching? Are you?
Yeah,
is anyone
private
teaching
studies.
classes?
Well, okay. So at that point, the orchestra class was more so about learning the rep and then performing it, and so it wasn't necessarily like. In most high school rooms, that's what's going on. There's not most of the even now, like most of the educational content happens in the middle school classrooms.
Interesting.
And then you learn new ideas through the music that the teacher would pick. And so there are moments where you can do that at the high school level.
Got it.
And so that's kind of what was the situation there. But one of the other opportunities that was really great is I had been studying composition at the same time. Before then, and so I actually had the opportunity to write music for the orchestra that I was conducting, and so it was. They were my guinea pigs in so many ways. So some of the things sounded horrible, but I learned so much.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, you have to. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, failure is part of. As part of getting better. It's part of improvement, right? Not saying you fail, but saying you have to have. We all have, right? Like we all have to have those experiences to learn and to get better, right?
Yeah.
So, but what a cool opportunity for you.
It was
amazing. Like at that
amazing.
age, especially to have that kind of, what I call the freedom to fail.
Absolutely.
Because like you have to someone has to be willing to even give you the opportunity to fail.
Yeah.
Which is hard to get a lot of times. Like
even
the
to this
opportunity
day,
to fail.
I give so much credit to the principal of that school that he would be willing to do that. Obviously, there was a teacher in
Because
the
you
room.
will grow. I'm convinced. Like you will grow leaps and bounds quicker if you have the opportunity to fail than if someone protects you.
Yes.
The whole time.
Yes.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and obviously within reason. Like, right? We don't.
I
wanna,
see that on a daily basis. I have a lesson studio. I teach kids how to play the violin, and what I have found is that, especially in the younger ages, the more you help them, the worse they are.
Sure.
And so you have to direct them, give them instruction, and guide them. But if you physically do it for them, they will never actually learn how to do it themselves. So you have to allow them, like you were mentioning, allow them the opportunity to make the horrible sound. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we are going to sound like a dying cat, and then we're not, right? And so, but you have to kind of go through that experience. And so it's been incredible, and I'm grateful to have been on the receiving end of that in those years. And so it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, and it was a great opportunity for me. And now I use a lot of those same experiences, and I draw on them in working with the ensembles here.
So do you have opportunities, or as you guys are thinking about where Cornelius Youth Orchestra is going and programs and strategies? Do you have any opportunities that you've thought of or are working on that give maybe, one or two shining star students like that opportunity to really, to stick their neck out and try something, you know what I mean? And hey, they could fail.
Yep.
But they could also
absolutely
absolutely knock it out of the park, right?
One of the fun stories, actually, I have to give shout out to our brass ensembles director, Andrew Farova. He is a horn player in the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra and an instructor at Davidson College. And he we're very fortunate to have him work with our brass programs. And we have our junior brass ensemble, which this is the first time these kids are playing with other kids. So like this is the new experience for them all. And at our Christmas concert, he actually had one of the kids conduct the other kids in the group, and everyone in the room. I mean, it was a packed house, standing room only. It was so much fun, and everyone in the room was just cheering the kid on. Like, awesome. it was amazing. So we like to provide those same opportunities for our kids. We try to also provide mentorship opportunities for our more senior members, our upperclassmen, to where they can work with some of the younger kids. Increasingly, our organization now has grown in its capacity to serve in the demographic that we serve. And so instead of just simply serving middle school and high school, now we're serving younger kids as well.
Yeah.
And that actually has opened up this opportunity for our upperclassmen to now really mentor and work with some of these younger kids. Now, the concertmaster of our orchestra, Jacob Pecoraro, he actually works with some of the beginning string students before and after rehearsals and coaches them in a one-on-one basis. And so it's been awesome to kind of reciprocate some of those opportunities to other kids and now kind of pass that along. And it's been really great to see the kids respond well and the families respond well to it.
Yeah. Man, I always think that's something that's like so cool to be able to find ourselves. When we were talking earlier about like a lot of the great kind of arts professionals in our area right now, I don't believe you, Bill. I feel like we all, I hope that we all get those opportunities to give someone or a kid or a family or a person, those special moments that we know that we got to have.
Yes.
And to be in that position to be able to do that is one of probably the most rewarding things, right? Like
absolutely,
has to be. So, all right, sorry, we're gonna leave this segment on that. We're gonna come back, and next segment we're gonna talk all about Cornelius Youth Orchestra, all about what it does, who it does it for, how to get your kid involved, what they're working on. Come back, know the scene.
More Know the Scene with Cain Center for the Arts Executive Director Justin Dionne is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, no rain for a while. Sure is nice to have a dry stretch of weather, isn't it? That continues. Plenty of sunshine today. It'll be a little bit cooler. High temperatures around the lake around 50, maybe some low 50s this afternoon. Dropping back to around freezing overnight. On our way to the mid-50s tomorrow, and slowly but surely warming up a little closer to 60 as we get toward the end of the week, although rain chances will come back heading into the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Merle Fest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Mooresville Parks and Recreation is excited to bring The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater to the Charles Mack Citizen Center, Saturday, February 10th. This is not your usual murder mystery experience. An evening of theater and mystery that will have you laughing and gasping. The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, Saturday, February 10th. For more info, visit ourtownstage.com. Want to attend the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your chance to win. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, February 23rd through the 25th. Looking for a night of bluegrass and Americana? Darren and Brooke Aldridge are coming to Cain Center for the Arts Friday, February 9th. This husband and wife team are celebrating their 9th recorded project together, This Life We're Living. Darren and Brooke Aldridge, Cain Center for the Arts, Friday, February 9th. cainarts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
It's Know the Scene with Cain Center for the Arts Executive Director Justin Dionne on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to this week's Know the Scene. Justin Dionne here. Know the Scene again, your local show here on WSIC to find out all about the arts and culture and other things that make up the scene here in Lake Norman. All the things that make up a cultural scene. So we're here today continuing with Eric Boruff, the executive director of Cornelius Youth Orchestra, which we just started to touch into. During the break, we talked a little bit about where Eric's roots in getting excited about violin at a young age, and then continuing violin. We're gonna hold on talking about the other pieces because I want to make sure we really spend this segment talking about Cornelius Youth Orchestra. So Eric, let's jump right into Cornelius Youth Orchestra. Tell us what is like the history of Cornelius Youth Orchestra. I mean, I know earlier at the beginning we said they started in
06, 07.
Yeah. So was it a full how do you know the story of how did Cornelius Youth Orchestra even come to be?
Well, I do know that it was a partnership between Ed Claire Cedeno and also Bill and Annette Harridan, and they were our founders in 06.
That's awesome.
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting all of them, but I did meet Bill and Annette, and I did work with them.
That's wonderful.
Whenever we transitioned in. And so I'm not as well versed with what happened before I was around.
Sure.
But I do know that for 10 plus years, they served the community and provided this opportunity for kids.
Wow.
And primarily it was a single orchestra performing ensemble. They did have a couple auxiliary groups through time for a few years, but primarily just one ensemble. And it was a good time from all I hear, but I'm just not very familiar with that. But I will say, since 2019, since we stepped in, and pretty much actually since COVID, we had to press the reset button.
Sure.
We decided not to do Zoom orchestra. And so we came out of COVID with 25 kids, and we weren't sure, how that was going to be coming out of COVID and being able to maybe put together an orchestra again. And, people moved out of the area, you lose some retention, people graduate, they move on. And by the next year we had 62 kids.
Wow.
And then this year we're pushing 150. So
wow.
Yeah. So we're on a pretty crazy growth trajectory, and our team is working all hours of the day to keep up with it, and so we're thrilled that we get to see and fill a need in the community that clearly is there, and there's a lot of interest in.
That's fantastic. Congratulations on that. Just like absolute, exponential service growth, right? So okay, so excuse me. So you're called the Cornelius Youth Orchestra, but I imagine that you do not just service and serve Cornelius youth.
This is true.
So tell us where would you say, do you consider your organization's mission to be mostly like Lake Norman region focused? I mean, do you go farther than that? What's kind of your goals as far as that?
We have been surprised and shocked by the far reaches of our community that kids and families have found us in, and found us from, I should say. We have students in over 6 different counties
Nice.
in the area, all the way to Gaston County.
Wow.
And then we have kids all the way
They drive all the way up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then all the way kids all the way to Statesville, so well into Iredell, and
That's awesome.
But primarily our service region is the
Sure.
Lake Norman area, and so that's pretty much where we see in the area we serve. We're pretty much the youth orchestra of Lake Norman, and
That's
so
awesome.
we're excited about that, and it's been incredible to see the reception. There really isn't another organization in the area that is serving our area in that way. The Lake Norman region,
Yeah, like
I
the
should
youth
say.
and the youth orchestra type stuff.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. So
what? So and help me run through. All right, let's start with ages. All right, I know you mentioned earlier wanting to start and open up to more young kids, like elementary school age. So as of right now, like as of today, we're on the radio today. What are the age ranges if someone's listening that they could reach out to you about?
4 to 20.
4 to 20, ages 4 to 20.
Yes. So age 4 to about 6 or 7 until about 3rd grade. We have the strings program that is accessible to that age group. And then we open up all of the other programs and the other beginner level classes for the other instruments at the 3rd and 4th grade level.
Got it.
So some kids probably wouldn't quite be ready. Most kids probably wouldn't be quite ready to start, playing some of those other instruments at that younger age. And at the moment, we've seen so much growth. We have just capacity to work with and manage. And so what we're saying is, we're going to have those 3rd graders, rising 4th graders, and start serving those just writ large, with all of the different classes that we have.
And are these all one-on, like, so if someone's got a younger kid, child, and they, hey, I'd love for my 4-year-old or 5-year-old to take a shot at trying to learn strings, right? Are they coming to a group-oriented class right now? Are they coming to a private one-on-one class? What I mean, both? What's the direction?
Our organization is primarily focused, and I should say exclusively focused on group ensemble classes.
Love that. Okay.
And so we, the way we look at it is we rely on all of the other teachers and studios and variety of partners in our community that can do all of the individual one-on-one stuff.
Love that.
That's not our lane. Our lane is providing the group and social aspect of learning, and so
they're going to learn with other kids their age.
Yes, exactly. And
That's
so
great.
So for the strings, there's a good chunk of kids in those classes, and then for our brass classes and woodwinds classes and etc. We are happy with the kids that we have, and we're looking to radically increase the enrollment in those groups. Our growth that we've seen this year has primarily happened in our performing ensembles, which is our upper level ensembles. But as we're moving into this coming year, we've actually started a new initiative, the Musical Pathways Initiative, and that is basically our flagship program as we pivot and as we approach the elementary age students and provide them with this opportunity to access to music education. The school systems locally primarily do not provide instrument-specific music education for students within school, and so what we're trying to do is fill that need and start kids younger. Other states do. North Carolina does not.
So tell me what you mean by instrument specific.
So, for example, if you sign up and if you say, my kid wants to play the trumpet, there is a trumpet class that he can go to. And Alex Wilborn, the principal trumpet of the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra, is his teacher on day one.
The trumpet group.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, so it's specific by instrument.
That's correct.
I see what you mean now. Okay, by
Yes.
instrument. I'm with you.
Yeah. So if you
Whereas like in elementary school right now, in general, like Mecklenburg schools, like
they got
you've got music
recorders,
class, but it's, yeah.
yes,
And like
those
recorder's
are
not even until like
third or fourth grade. Right. Exactly.
Like you're not actually even.
Exactly.
They may have a class piano that maybe the kids get a chance to like plunk on or something.
Sure. And we're so thankful for all of our community elementary musical teachers. We're partnering with them on this.
Right.
They do such an incredible job. It's just a matter of resources. And
right,
so,
of course,
and
as
so
always.
that's
I'm not knocking the schools at all, man. They do the best with what they got.
Absolutely. And so, but we have so much more flexibility to work outside the school system. We don't have the bureaucratic red tape.
Right.
One of the things that we pride our organization on is our dexterity. If we see a need, we can fill it. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
And so essentially this is a need and we can fill it. And our goal is to create a pipeline from age, third grade and maybe even younger for some instruments all the way to college. And if we could start them at a younger age and give them access to world-class instructors and on day one, that's who you're learning from, then just imagine what's going to happen in 10th, 11th grade, where our output is going to be and the impact we're going to have there.
Yes. So what about, a kid comes in, because, a little kid especially, right?
Yeah.
They may want to try several instruments.
Yeah.
Right? So a parent comes to you and he goes, I want my kid to try strings. And then the kid does strings class. And maybe the kid, after a month or two or whatever strings class, is like, I really want to try a different instrument. Is that hard? Is that not looked well upon? Or, how do you approach that?
This is one of the best features, in my opinion, of our programming. The way we've designed it, and it takes a little bit of explaining to do, but we're sticking by it. The way we've designed it is we charge one tuition, and we have scholarships available. We don't turn anyone away. So if tuition is an obstacle, we just take people. So don't let money be something that stops you. But we have one enrollment that a student is enrolled within the entire organization. Once they are enrolled in the organization, they can participate in as many or as little classes as they would like to at no additional cost. So we have students who are in the trumpet class and also who are in the strings class, trombone class, and then also in the strings class. We have
you just have collections of instruments for them to use when they come to class.
Absolutely, yes. So
it's not like when I was growing up and you had to buy we had to buy my trumpet, and my parents were like, "You're never switching instruments. We bought this trumpet."
Exactly. So that is an obstacle that we're working to solve. So we haven't up to this point provided instruments because we haven't had the ability to warehouse these instruments.
Yeah, we're going to keep them.
Exactly. And so up to this point, we've asked kids and helped facilitate them achieving their instruments. But right now, we're actually accepting donations so that we can provide those instruments for kids.
So,
and
pull that violin out of the dumpster.
Absolutely. Pull it out of the dumpster, let another kid have an opportunity. Who knows? They might lead an orchestra one day.
That's right. We are running short on time.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure we talk about a few big things coming up. So real quickly, this weekend you have a performance.
We have a concert, Mount Zion United Methodist Church in Cornelius. Come see us. It's free. Bring your friends and family.
What time?
6:30 on Saturday.
6:30 Saturday night. Come bring people to Mount Zion United Methodist Church right there downtown Cornelius. Watch the
Cornelius
Youth Orchestra, and then come and see Darren and Brooke. Then you have a great program you're having called Instrument Discovery Days that you're going to be hosting at Cain Center.
Yes.
Once a month, February 24th, March 23rd, and April 27th. Now that means folks can come to the Cain Center lobby at 10, anytime between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.?
10 a.m. and 11:30 is what we're aiming for.
Between 10 a.m. and 11:30 on those days, come to Cain Center lobby, and what do they get to do?
This is an awesome opportunity. Parents, do not miss this. This is an opportunity for your kids to try every single instrument in the orchestra, and guided by our world-class faculty. And there's going to be prizes and everything for the kids to participate in as well. But they can try the violin, the trombone, the trumpet, the flute, the clarinet, all of the above.
There'll be tables of instruments.
Yes, and they get to try them all.
It.
Yes, and if you try them all, you get a prize.
All right. Well, man, we are out of time. Unfortunately, we'll have to have Eric back soon. Cornelius Youth Orchestra, what's the website?
CorneliusYouthOrchestras.com. Look us up on socials at Cornelius Youth Orchestras.
All right, there you go. Thank you so much for coming today, Eric.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you next week on Know the Scene.
The new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC, Statesville, W290DK, Mooresville.